Hey guys, so today I'm going to do an in-depth review of my book journal from the halfway point. So this is just a dotted journal that I got from Amazon. And so we'll open it up and we start with my cover page. And so a lot of this is either scrapbook paper or stuff from Pinterest. I try to get a lot of the images from their actual social media, such as Instagram or their websites. But most of the images are honestly just taken from Pinterest. So first we move into my little bookshelf here, and I have it labeled by how I rated them. And I did do it a little more in depth than I had last year. And just the reason for that is I just wanted more color. I tend to rate things a lot 4 stars. Or, in this area. And I just wanted more diversity here. So I have this first page. And then second page. So I did about a page and a half for the first year. So hopefully I will have enough. I don't remember exactly how many books I had on this. And then we go into my yearly TBR. I have currently read 4 of the books from my yearly TBR. I am about halfway through Kingdom of Ash, and that's about it so far. So I have yearly goals here. Read 100 books. As we are speaking, I have read 64 books this year. To get my TBR to under 100 books, it is at under 100 books. Hopefully by the end of the year it will still be under 100 books. A 1,000-page book, not quite yet. No, not quite yet. 3 nonfiction books so far this year. I have read 0. Finished 5 series. And then to have 10 books from the library. We do use the library quite a bit. I do have 3 boys. So we are using the library quite a bit. But I just wanted personally to read 10 books from the library. So then we start into my monthly TBR. So each month I pick out 6 books I hope to read that month. So this was my 6 books. I read all 6 of them. And then I will put my favorite book. And then just some statistics. So in January, I read 11 books, average rating of 4.06. I read a total of 4,572 pages. And I like to include the page count because sometimes I can read, only 6 books. And sometimes I can read like 14. But some of those books are really short or really long. So this gives me a more accurate of how much I'm actually reading. And then I have a little pie chart here of the different genres. And then of if I read ebook, audio, or a physical book. So a lot of romance in January. In February, I had these 6 books. And I did not finish Spark of the Airflame. I did start it in February, but it was right at the end of the month. My favorite book was the 3rd book in the MLM Lion series, which I started and finished in the month of February. I was hoping to slow it down a little, and halfway through I read a different book, and I just went right back to MLM Lion. So when you look at the historical fiction, that is a large part. So 13 books in February, but you will see I read less pages because the MLM Lion books are quite short. I had 1 library book and 1 DNF in February as well. And then also, most of those were ebooks because the MLM Players I read on Kindle Unlimited. Into March, I only completed 4 out of my 6. My favorite book was And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. Only 8 books, 3,000 pages. Nice average rating, mostly romance. And a lot of physical books a month. Into April, I did read all 6 books. My least rated book of the year so far. This Inevitable Ruin was my favorite book in April. A lot of romance and romantasy. 9 books, but some of them were quite long. Into May, I only read 4 out of my 6 books. Favorite one was Fever Dream by Elsie Silver. Lots of romance and quite a lot of pages. A few of the books I read were quite long, such as A Quarter Soul of Flames, which my least favorite book of the ACOTAR series so far. Into June, and I read 5 out of the 6 books. Dolly All the Time was my favorite. Once again, lots of romance. Read 7 books. Very, very small month. I did not do a lot of reading this month. I did finish 1 arc, which was A Trade of Blood, the 3rd book in the Shadows of Leviathan Theory. And then I will just show you my July TBR. As of reading this, I have read 2 of the books already. I'm currently reading Grace's Heart. And so we can just skip ahead. I'll just show you a quick, I do pre-make all these pages just because it's fun. And once again, all these images are just taken off of Pinterest. And I did accidentally cut this page. So when we come here, which is going to be my yearly statistics, so basically all of this information at the end of the year, I'm going to compile onto this page. Then I have my Hall of Fame, which is basically any book that I give 4.5 stars or higher. And I want to do this because some months I read a lot of really great books, and I don't want to just have one book featured as my favorite book if I do read a lot of great books, such as all these books read in February, right? And then we go into my book review spread. So every single book I do a little page on it, and so we're starting into January, and I like to do this so I can look back and remember what the books are even about. Break from MM so that I wouldn't complete the entire series, and then immediately move back into it. I did read People Meet on Vacation before I watched the movie, and I disliked both of them. Probably my least favorite Emily Henry book. If you're wondering, my favorite is probably Funny Story. I do include some fanfics if I read them, mostly because I can download them on my Kindle, so if they show up on Fable, I'll put them in here. Which, least favorite book of the year is just wasn't my taste, but super cute, very aesthetic. I do still have it on my shelf because it's very pretty. July. So that is my full book spread. I hope you liked it.